Ah, spring. A lovely time for a hike in the crisp, fresh air and warm sunshine. The land bursting forth its colorful bounty. Oh, who am I kidding? This is Montana. That's local legend Mario Locatelli in the truck up front. That's lunch. And he's taking me, Laurie Hancock, and my film crew, Holly, hanging out the window there, to a place he goes pretty much every day. Goat Mountain, appropriately enough, for the man known as the Mountain Goat. And that's Mario, and me in the pink, telling climbing stories. And he has stories to tell. He's an Italian-born Bitterroot resident who in 2004 and at age 72 plus became the oldest man to reach the summit of Denali, also known as Mount McKinley in Alaska. He celebrated that feat with these feet in his trademark headstand that he does at every summit. This is Granite Peak in Wyoming. Here's Mount St. Helens in Washington after the blast. Even Kilimanjaro in Africa. But it all started right here in our own Bitterroot Valley. Each red line on this map shows every canyon and every ridge he's hiked along the 60-mile stretch from Lolo to West Fork. That's a 20-year effort represented there. But let's take this one hike at a time. Joining us is Mario's fiancée, Lisa, who often joins him on his daily hike up Goat Mountain. This trail is about a 3-mile round trip going up 1,600 feet in elevation. So to reach his goal of over 90,000 feet in elevation, he needs to do this hike 6 days a week, rain or shine, sun or snow. And speaking of snow, does anybody notice anything? Our little spring hike is quickly turning into a snow slog, which, to be honest, is much nicer than rain. Mario points out the real spring flowers in western Montana. The red is Indian paintbrush, the purple is lupin, and the yellow is balsamwood. So we stop to enjoy the flowers and an occasional climbing story, like the one about the Good Samaritans who found a deceased climber at 17,000 feet and decided to take the body down to the emergency station at 14,000 feet.
And so they decided to bring the body down there. So they notified the family, and he says, leave him up there. He wanted to be buried up there. So then they buried that again, but now they didn't bring it up to 17.2. They buried it at 14.2. Yeah.
I bet there wasn't a whole lot of debate about whether to take him back up. Coming here every day, you might think a person could get tired of the same trail. But with the ever-changing seasons and weather, I wonder if you ever really see the same trail twice. And just look around. Who could ever get tired of this? Wow. Mario says he'd like to stay here forever, right next to this tree.
See, when I die, I'm going to have my ashes spread up here.
Oh,
I've been up here so many times. My daughter was a few friends of mine that put it on, so she keeps getting after me by cutting all my beard off. She want to see what I look like.
See what your face looks like.
So says, I trimmed some of it off. I says, no way, I'm not going to cut it all off, even for you.
I've got
The only time when it's going to come off when they cremate me, then it's going to go poof.
A little further on, Mario thinks we might get a good view of the spectacular cliffs of Blodgett Canyon. Or not. No matter. If you can't see far, enjoy what's near. Pretty. Well, that was today's summit. But as any mountain climber will tell you, this is only halfway. Not that we can't have a little fun on the way down. Uh-oh, look out, Ow. Weenie arm. Well, this is a little more my speed anyway. I wonder how many of these you see on McKinley. After this point, we didn't see Mario and Lisa again until we got to the trailhead. Mountain goats go fast downhill, or else they just don't mess around as much. We met up again at his cabin for a tour and a visit, some family photos. Oh, no, there's Mario and his brothers. Mario is in the middle. And Mario's home gym. This is a 53-year-old man, people. 50 to 60 a day, 10 at a time. Man, that's almost enough to get you up off the couch, isn't it? In his living room, we talked about some of the fundraising he's done over the years, like the one that started it all for the local search and rescue.
And then they were trying to find a way to raise some money, so they came up with an idea, says, I'm going to have a race. I'll have a race from Twin Lakes back to Hamilton. They thought I was crazy. So we went from 6,500 feet to a War Mountain, that's 9,119 feet. But there was a lot of ups and downs, some people want to race, and some people that just want to do it, just to do that hike in one day is quite an achievement. And the second year I decided to run my own race. I had another guy bring up the second year. And I couldn't believe it. I won my own race, and I was 57 at the time. And so far I raised over $30,000 for different causes, like the Corvallis, the library burned, the school, part of the school burned down a few years ago. Then here's some books at the library, and then also Mackie from Hamilton that died on a fire in Colorado. I raised enough money to put up a memorial of Blodgett here, and different things, like a family from Stevensville, they were living in a trailer, and the boy got up at night, he felt cold, so he started the wood stove, he threw some gas in it. And of course the tent kind of blew up there, and the father heard the commotion. He got up to go over and put the fire out, and he tripped the can over, and he got second-degree burn.
Oh, gosh.
So I went up as impact and presented him a check, things like that, So it was a good feeling, it kept me fit, and at the same time helping someone, it's really a good feeling. As you're getting older, good feeling,
And we talked about plans for the future. He and Lisa will be married by the time he makes his next trip up McKinley. Oh, did I mention? He's on a mission to regain his record.
Because the oldest person on McKinley, from 1955 to 1976 to 1988, there's a big span. Then I came along, I was the top dog in 04, and he comes this Japanese last year. He's a year and 1 month older than me. He took my record away. Only held it for 1 year. I couldn't believe it. So it's going to be a war between a Japan and Italian. I got to go back up next year. I'll be about 6-7 months older than he. And McKinley's actually harder than Everest.
It's physically harder.
It's colder on McKinley than Everest, and plus you got to pack everything yourself.
Instead of the Sherpas.
Yeah, instead at Everest you have the axle elevation, and they got the Sherpas. The only thing about Everest is higher. That most people have to use oxygen.
Which is
To do it, if I could do it twice, that's a record in itself for anybody over 70.
Yeah, that's true. When you decide to go, is your training going to change in some way? How would you train for
Yeah.
everything?
Usually I'm gonna start packing some water. Last time I went to McKinley, I was packing 50 pounds of water every other day.
Wow.
Like Gold Mountain, I only do it every other day, because it's pretty strenuous. Go up to Gold Mountain with 50 pounds of water. Then I get up the top, I dump the water out. They say you should never hike off a mountain with a heavy pack. Then I go up by the grub stick, I went to Missoula, Mount Central with 50 pounds of water. I did that for 4 months. Boy, I was sugar out when it was over. But I worked up the endurance to pack, So I'll have to start doing that again this winter, Limits is very important as you get older, and you're doing, stuff like this, climbing, you gotta know your limits, A lot of people, they make the mistake. They're right close to the top, and they want to make it. They waste all the energy that they have. And then a lot of them die, like McKinley. A lot of them die on the way down because they waste their energy, and then their legs will get wobbly, and then they fall. And just like on Everest, the two guys in 1996, there were 2 guys, one in New Zealand, New Hall, and then another guy from Seattle, They brought some big shots up there, and they say they should never be up at the top of Everest after 1 o'clock in the afternoon, because the storms come in, usually in the afternoon. Well, some of them were still up there at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. 9 of them died because they were too late, and there were quite a few, and they got on this, what do you call it, Hillary step. The first guy that ever climbed Everest, they call it, just before you get up to the top, it's kind of a tight spot that people have to wait their turns to get up there, and that's what they wasted a lot of time there, So anyway, a big storm came in and killed 9 of them, including both guides. Some of these people didn't have no business being up there. They wasn't fit enough to go hit it hard and be up there by 1 o'clock, and then come down,
And then be smart enough to know not to go.
You gotta know your limits. Say, hey, I don't want to die yet. I mean, this is quite a time, especially with me now that I have this gorgeous gal here.
Yeah.
And thank you, Mario, for sharing some of that quality time with us. Congratulations to you and Lisa, and good luck on Mount McKinley in the summer of 2007.